Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom. The fireworks are not done.
Now we're getting commentary on the case.
Get off my lawn.
Dati mihi Anglican boys.
Alrighty. We're almost here. My camera's not working. So that's in black. That's not good. Oh, let's see. We need chat somewhere. There we go. Good morning. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. Happy, oh my goodness. Do you guys know what today is?
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Guess what today is?
It's
Hump Day! Welcome to Wednesday. We're kicking it off in style, as we normally do. Congratulations. 2 thumbs down from my son, who's back up for adoption. Let's see. We need this on and this on. Well, I guess we don't need that one. I need this camera to work. That's what I need. Good morning. Welcome. I need this camera won't turn on. Okay, it's going to start. I get 1 thumbs up from one person and a wishy-washy from another and 2 thumbs down from another. But it was a good one. It's a good morning. Happy Wednesday. We have to be quick. We've got to do birthdays right away because court starts in just a minute. I know it's early morning. If you look outside where I'm at, let's see. I think that's on camera 7. Yeah, it's bright out. It's bright. Let's see if I can show you the mountains this morning because they're beautiful. Let's see, right up there. There should be some mountains, but it's too bright. There we go. Seats are working now. Hang on 1 second. Let's see. Crank that up. Crank this down. Oop, that's too far down. There we go. That's the neighbor's house. That's not important. There we go. There's the sun rising on the mountains over here in Utah. All right. Welcome. I need to... Oh, this live stream is the best. Thank you, sample user. I appreciate that. But welcome to Sophia Starlin, first in chat this morning. Thank you very much, Sophia, for doing that, for being first in chat. We're going to recognize you with a punishment. We're going to punish you with the internet ownership and you're in charge of the internet for the rest of the day. So congratulations. Thank you. It is beautiful after a crazy rain. Yeah, I saw videos of like flooding, like in Orem and stuff like that. I had no idea. I mean, it rained pretty hard here, but I had no idea there was flooding going on. All right. Let's see. If we have any birthdays, please speak now or forever hold your peace because court is starting. Court is starting. So we have to sing quickly. I've got audio going as well. Any birthdays? Yes? No? I don't think we have. To let you know what we're going to do, birthday wishes. I don't see any. Do we have no birthdays today? It'll make me sad. We'll have to sing during a break, maybe. Let's do that. Happy birthday, friends, to everybody who has birthdays. If you added to the birthday wishes form, we'll find out about it. I guess we're going to do it on a break. We'll sing happy birthday on break if the mods can remind us. Donnie, I don't believe you. For some reason, I don't believe it's your birthday. Those double question marks. Daughter Michelle's birthday. Okay, we're going to sing to Michelle then. Let's do this. Blend your voices with me. Warm up, if you will. La 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 la. There we go. Okay, we're going to sing to Michelle. Just Michelle. I don't think it's Sharon McDonald's birthday. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Michelle. Happy birthday to you. Michelle, I'm so glad you had a birthday today. Had you not had a birthday today, we would be birthday songless. And that's not a good way to start a day. So as we get ready to jump to court, which we'll do here in just a minute. The defendant is already there. Let me just say, Michelle, happy birthday. Help yourself to free pancakes at Denny's. I realize there are a million places you could be, a million people you could be with, but you're here celebrating with us, and that makes all the difference. Thank you very much. That music is super loud. Super loud. Happy hump day. We're going to turn the music off as court is beginning, but we are going to continue celebrating all day long. All right, let me tell you what the birthday song made me deaf. Let me tell you what we're going to do today. We're starting with the bad neighbor trial. This is Susan. She's accused of shooting a neighbor through the door. I got some flack from some people saying, hey, you've only heard part of the evidence and you're already saying guilty. I'm just saying, based on what I know about Florida law, I haven't seen the key parts, even in the opening statements about what we're going to hear, that would indicate that there was a justification for this. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying she's guilty. I'm just saying we're missing something that needs to be there for this to be self-defense. All right. I'm planning on a long day of streaming, because here's what I want to do. Last night, the jury was selected in the Robert Tullis trial in Nevada, which is just great. That's wonderful. So today, I think they're going to have a short day. What is that noise? Is that the court? That is court. That's our hiss from court to let us know that we're actually here. We're going to have a short day. The camera is not working still. In this trial, because the state's probably going to rest first thing this morning, and then we're going to have defense take over, but they only have part of their witnesses. So short day, starting in Florida, and then it's like after lunch that the defense takes over, or the Robert Tullis trial starts with opening statements. So we might be a little bit late starting with the opening statements, but I'm planning on watching both this trial and Robert Tullis today, and then we'll come back to this trial tomorrow morning, and we'll keep doing that all day, all night schedule until we get one trial over with and a verdict. So yeah, it's going to be a long day. Might need some Mountain Dew. Looks like everyone's coming into court. There's the judge in his fancy little dress, or robe, excuse me. I don't know why this camera is not working. Your Honor, we can't hear you. We're waiting for audio to come in. So far, none. Okay, the camera's rebooting, but I'm not seeing it yet.
Yes, Judge.
Hey, there we go.
I see Ms. Lorincz is here. Anything that needs to be brought to my attention before we proceed?
Yes, it's hump day, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Just bring your jurors back in, please.
Forgot how noisy this courtroom is. Yeah, that's a microphone hanging from the ceiling, picking up all the air conditioners and everything. We have a counter running today. If you remember, we are counting the the number of times naughty words are said. It's a cursive counter. Need to plug this in. Tell me that's not the shutter of the camera that we're hearing. Still doing camera repairs. Sorry for that shot. This is a view of the ceiling right now in court.
Right next door.
All right, camera's working. Now we're good. What time is it where I'm at? It is 7 o'clock in the morning. 0700 hours. Missed a couple messages here. Let me get to that really quickly. Tickled Pink Music, welcome to the gallery. Thank you very much for the continued support. At least 3 months there. Chris Wallace, I'll be right here with you. Thank you very much, Chris. We also have Braxton Heaps.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, you don't have to sit in the same seats every time. You're free to move around.
I told you they'd sit in the same place.
Fine, everyone in the jury goes back to the same seat all the time. Maybe force a habit. Good morning to all of you. I want to just check with you, as I do every day, to make sure, and by show of hands, has anyone contacted you about this case or said anything to you in your presence about this case? I see no hands. Have any of you contacted anyone else about this case or spoken with anyone else about this case? I see no hands. Have any of you gone online and looked up anything about this case or communicated about this case with anyone online? I see no hands. I thank you very much. We are ready to proceed with our next witness. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. State calls Dr. Steindale Norford.
Thank you, sir. You need to...
Yes. Thank you.
Nothing plugged in right now.
Braxton, I saw your message. I'm going to take your advice. I'm updating to cursive right now. Andrew C., thank you for gifting a membership first thing this morning. Thank you very much. Is that his phone?
I do. Have a seat. Just want to remind everyone to turn your cell phones off, okay?
That was the state prosecutor's phone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Hi, I'm Shane Norford.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a forensic pathologist.
Where are you currently employed?
I work with my own consulting company currently.
You're with where, I'm sorry?
My own consulting company.
Okay, and what do you do in that consulting company?
I do forensic pathology work, expert witness work, as well as medical malpractice cases.
Where did you work before your consulting?
The District 5 Medical Examiner's Office in Leesburg.
How long did you work there?
2.5 years.
From what period of time?
Between 2021 and the end of 2023.
Can you describe to the jury your educational background and experience that allows you to do forensic pathology?
Sure. I have a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry from the University of the Virgin Islands, a Master's degree in Criminal Justice from Kaplan University.
It's not
I have
cursive,
a medical degree from
but it's still
Boston
readable.
University School of Medicine. I completed a 4-year combined residency program in clinical pathology and anatomic pathology from Orlando Regional Medical Center, after which I completed a fellowship in forensic pathology at the Miami-Dade Medical Examiner's Office. And I'm board certified in anatomic pathology, clinical pathology, and forensic pathology.
As a medical examiner, what were your duties? What did you do on a day-to-day basis?
On a daily basis, I perform forensic autopsies, determine cause and manner of death, review toxicology reports, and approve cremations.
Are you licensed to practice medicine in Florida?
I am.
All right. You mentioned a couple terms. First, pathology. What is that?
Pathology is the study of disease by definition.
You mentioned clinical pathology.
Sure.
What is that?
So clinical pathology is the study of disease based on the analysis of liquid tissues, so blood, urine, laboratory medicine in the general sense.
And I think you then mentioned anatomical pathology. What is that?
So anatomical pathology is a study of disease based on the examination of solid tissues. So we're looking at organs, any biopsies, and it also includes some autopsies as well.
And finally, you mentioned the term forensic pathology. What is that?
So forensic pathology is a branch of pathology that deals with performing forensic autopsies and determining the cause and manner of death from those autopsies.
Can you estimate about how many autopsies you performed in your career?
Over 3,000.
Whoa.
You said you were board certified in certain areas. First, what areas are you board certified in?
Sure. Clinical pathology, anatomic pathology, and forensic pathology.
And what is involved in becoming board certified? What does that mean?
So you first have to complete a certain amount of training requirements. In this case, I probably did 5 years of additional training on top of medical school. After fulfilling certain requirements, you have to take several examinations and pass them as well.
Can you describe for the jury what an autopsy is and what it involves?
Sure. An autopsy involves examination of a body of somebody who's deceased. So you're examining the body from head to toe, front to back. You're noting everything from the color of the eyes, the color of the hair, any scars, any tattoos, any unusual marks. You're also noting any injuries or diseases that you find as you go along.
Have you been permitted to give opinion testimony in the field of forensic pathology in court before?
I have.
Can you estimate about how many times?
Around 45 or 50.
Your Honor, I'd ask that this witness be permitted to provide opinion testimony in the field of forensic pathology.
Any objection of our dyer?
No objection, Your Honor.
Happy birthday,
Testify
Aaron.
and form an opinion, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
He's saying this
On
morning,
November
consider
10th,
yourself
June
son
3rd,
too. Have a
2023,
wonderful
did you
birthday.
perform an autopsy on a woman named Ajika Owens?
I did.
How did Miss Owens' body arrive to the medical examiner's office?
So we got a call from law enforcement about a shooting that occurred. In this case, she had already been transported to the hospital. So after which got a call, investigation took all the information, and then her body was later transported from the hospital to her office.
And where is the office of the medical examiner located in the 5th District?
It's in Leesburg.
Is a unique case number assigned to each autopsy that is performed by the medical examiner's office?
Yes.
What was the autopsy number associated with the autopsy of Miss Owens?
It was ME 23-1380.
How old was Miss Owens?
She was 35.
How tall was she?
5 feet 7 inches,
And how much did she weigh?
293 pounds.
During the course of the autopsy that you performed, were photographs taken of Miss Owens as well as the injuries that you noticed on her?
Yes, photographs were taken.
Showing Mr. Marks the Y for identification. Take a look at that item, the photos in it, see if you recognize them.
Rick, happy birthday to your mom. 88 yesterday. That is awesome. Sorry we missed her yesterday.
Yes, I do.
Generally, what are those photos?
So the autopsy photos taken at the time of the examination.
Now, do they fairly accurately depict the Miss Owens as well as her injuries and items you may recover from her body?
They do.
This time, the state would move Y into evidence as 16, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
States Y unanimous is states number 16.
May I have access to the TV?
I put it on there, but they had
Content warning, we might see some
Make sure I
some
got what
graphic
you want
images
on
here.
there.
plugged in. Your Honor, if you could take that off 1 second and try to fix it.
Yeah.
It's plugged in and hard.
While Mr. Smith is working on that, Doctor, during the autopsy, was law enforcement present?
In this case, they weren't.
Okay. Did you see any evidence of medical treatment on Ms. Owens' body?
Yes, she had several pieces of medical evidence. She had defibrillator pads on her chest. She also had an intravenous catheter in one of her legs as well.
You're right, no, old school. Photograph 1 of stage 16. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes.
And is that the person that you performed the autopsy upon?
It is.
Did you locate any injuries to Ms. Owens' hand during the course of the autopsy?
Yes.
Describe the injury that you located.
So she had a superficial injury, what we call an abrasion, to the right hand.
Photograph 2 of stage 16, does that represent the injury that you noticed?
Yes, it is.
Trying to tune out the paper shuffling sound. It just grates on my ears.
Can you describe the injury to the jury?
So the injury was pink-purple in color, superficial, meaning it was just like a superficial part of the skin that was injured, nothing deeper.
Not considered a life-threatening injury?
No, it was not.
Is the appearance of the injury, in your opinion, consistent with being caused by a projectile or a graze from a projectile?
It's not.
Why not?
So with projectile wounds or graze wound, you have certain characteristics. For instance, a graze wound is a wound that's caused from the projectile scraping over your skin. With those wounds, they tend to be like more elongated, and you tend to have what's called skin tags pointing in the direction that the projectile is coming from. With, say, an entrance-type gunshot wound, it's more like round, regular punched out. And in this case, it's only one superficial wound. Like I said, there's nothing deeper, so there's no penetration at all.
Could you tell, based on the appearance of the injury, whether the injury was fresh or had begun healing?
It was fresh.
Okay. Do you have an opinion as far as what could have caused that injury?
It could have caused by several things. Maybe, her hand hitting the floor as she fell, or maybe something from the door, something hitting her hand.
Did you locate a gunshot wound on Miss Owens?
Yes, I did.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute, but in your opinion, the injury to her right wrist was not consistent with a gunshot wound, correct?
Correct.
I understand. Did you also take x-rays of Miss Owens' body prior to performing the autopsy?
Yes, we did.
And why is that done?
We take x-rays to see whether or not there are any projectiles within the person. And if there is projectile, then we want to know where the projectile is located. That way we can access the projectile easily while doing the autopsy.
Show me photograph 3 of stage 16. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And you notice the projectile in the x-ray?
It's hard to see, actually. I can't see from that.
Is that better?
Yes, I can see it now.
Okay. And where is that on the photograph? I'm going to show it to the jury in a second.
So it's on the right abdomen area.
Okay. My finger located where it is?
Yes.
Okay. And what we're looking at is a kind of a white object type area in the x-ray?
Correction. Yes, correct.
Did you locate a corresponding gunshot wound on Miss Owens' body?
Yes, I did.
Where was that located?
It was on the right side of the chest.
the photograph 4 of stage 16. What does this photograph show?
That shows the entrance gunshot wound on the right chest.
There may have been some sort of pre-trial ruling that kept the video out from the interrogation.
Can you point to yourself where that was located?
Sure. So it was about right here.
Okay. And can you tell by the appearance of the gunshot wound whether it's an entrance wound or exit wound?
Yes, I can.
How can you tell that?
So entrance gunshot type wounds are more what we call regular, somewhat round or a little ovoid. They tend to be more punched out, whereas exit gunshot wounds are typically irregular, almost like the projectile tearing the skin as it exits.
Did you find an exit wound?
There was none.
Is that consistent with the x-ray showing the presence of a projectile inside of her body?
It is.
All right. Did you locate any soot around the entrance wound?
There was none.
Okay. And what is meant by soot, and why is that significant?
So soot is completely burned gunpowder. It's almost like it's dust-like, so it wipes off easily. And when soot is present, it tells us that it's a close gunshot wound within 6 inches.
Did you locate any what's called stippling around the entrance wound of the gunshot?
There was none.
What is stippling?
So stippling is unburnt gunpowder particles now. And with stippling, it tends to have like bigger particles causing superficial injury to the skin. And it's more permanent. We call it tattooing because it looks like little black marks around the wound. And you tend to see stippling with intermediate range gunshot wounds, so from like 6 inches to about 2.5 feet.
Would you expect to find any soot or stippling in the entrance wound of this gunshot if she was shot through a door?
I would not, because in this case, there was an intermediate target, so any soot or stippling would actually be on the door and not on her.
And you're not saying there would be soot or stippling on the door, but if it was going to be there, it would be on the door as opposed to in her body?
Correction, as it depends on the range of fire from the door.
Okay. Can you describe to the jury the damage that the projectile caused as it entered her body and proceeded through it?
Sure. So the projectile entered the right side of the chest. It then hit the 4th rib, after which it went through her right lung. It went through the heart. It went through the esophagus. It also went through the aorta, after which it went through the diaphragm, the spleen, and it was recovered from the left lower abdomen area.
Can you describe the path of travel the projectile took?
Big downward angle.
Sure. So it went from right to left and downward.
Can you point where the projectile was actually located?
Sure. Can I send?
Yes, ma'am.
So entrance was here, and the projectile was found around this area.
Went through basically all the vital organs.
Now, I know we see on TV all the time that medical examiners are able to say exactly how a person positioned when the person shot. Can you do that?
Not in this case, because there's so many factors that come into play. Without knowing the position that the shooter was in, how tall the shooter is, the position of the hand and the gun, you can't really say that.
But we have the door.
Did you recover the projectile that we saw in the x-ray from her body?
Yes, it was recovered.
Can you explain how you did that?
Sure.
Use the metal detector.
While we're doing the autopsy, I'm noting the injuries as I go along. And from the x-ray, I have an approximate location of where the projectile should be. So I could say I'm looking at the injuries, and then I follow the path of the projectile until I could actually find the projectile. It's not always easy to find, sometimes we have to dig a bit deeper. But in this case, it was like in the left abdominal wall. And after which we retrieved it and submitted it as evidence.
Tony, you must have introduced this photograph 5 of stage 16. What is this show?
That's a projectile.
Is that the one you recovered from?
Yes.
Sarah Boone has a hearing today. I'm not sure if the media is going to be allowed.
Showing us the marked stations of the Z for identification. Do you recognize that?
I do.
What letter did you say?
Z.
Z.
What is that?
So this is the envelope with my signature and what the projectile is.
Can you open that up, look inside, tell me if you recognize the content?
I can. I do. There's a projectile inside the envelope.
And what is it?
A projectile.
Is it the same or substantially the same condition as when you collected it from Miss Owens' body?
It is.
This time state would move Z as in zebra into evidence as 17.
No objection, Your Honor.
The objection, Z, will be evidence as states number 17.
Except for the injury to her right wrist and the gunshot wound, did you see any other evidence of fresh trauma to Miss Owens' body?
There was none.
Was a toxicology screen done on Miss Owens?
Yes, one was performed.
And what are you looking for when you do that?
So we're looking for any drugs or substances in the body.
What were the results of that toxicology screen?
Her screen was completely negative.
Okay. Completely negative, meaning no alcohol, no drugs, nothing in her system.
Correct.
Are you anticipate being paid for your time here today, correct?
Correct.
And any work that you've done to prepare for trial?
Correct.
What do you charge an hour?
For criminal cases, $300 per hour.
And about how many hours have you devoted to this case since you left the medical examiner's office?
So, including trial prep, doing my own, and including driving here, which is about like 2 hours each way. So it's probably around 5.5 to 6 hours.
It's not much.
And when you worked for the medical examiner's office and actually performed the autopsy, you were getting paid because you were a state employee through your salary, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and now that you left, you're entitled to be paid for the time since you've left.
Yes, correct.
Fair enough. Thank you, Doctor. No other questions, Your Honor.
Before we have cross-examination, I want to remind everybody in the courtroom, your phone needs to be off. Unless you're a credentialed member of the media. Please do not text from the courtroom. If I see you texting from the courtroom or appearing to be texting from the courtroom, your phone's going to be seized and returned to you at the end of the session. Just fair warning to everybody, okay? Cross-examination.
Does that apply to bailiffs as well? Michelle Marcus, welcome to the gallery. Look at that orange courthouse. Looks great. Thank you so much.
Judge, I had a couple other questions before we go.
Yes, sir.
Did you determine the cause of death in this case?
I did.
What was it?
So the cause of death was a gunshot wound of the torso.
What was the manner of death?
Homicide.
Cross-examination.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good morning.
Hi, good
Nice to
morning.
see you again.
Likewise.
Miss Owens was 35 years old when she passed away. Is that right?
Yes, she was.
And based on the autopsy that you did on her, she was well developed and well nourished when she passed, right?
Correct.
She seemed healthy and strong based on your autopsy. Is that right?
Yes, she was.
She weighed 293 pounds at autopsy, right?
Yes.
Which means that's what she weighed when she passed away, right?
Correct.
And she was 5'7" at autopsy, right?
Yes.
Now, you have no idea what caused the abrasion to her right leg. Is that right?
So I'll say it's a blunt force injury. So something, I guess it's some kind of blunt force trauma, or maybe like her striking a hard surface or something else striking her.
The trajectory of the gunshot wound was downward. Is that right?
Yes, it was.
And the projectile entered her body in her right chest?
Yes.
And it traveled from right to left. Is that right?
Correct.
In a downward angle?
Correct.
There's no way that you can tell us if the projectile going through the ribs and organs it went through, whether that influenced the trajectory, correct?
It could. The rib is a bone, so it could slightly change the angle of the projectile.
But you can't tell us with any amount of certainty.
Correct.
You can tell us that Miss Owens was most likely in an upright position when she was shot, but nothing else in regard to her positioning. Is that right?
Correct.
And you cannot tell us if she was right or left or anything like that, correct?
I can't.
Now, because there was a door between the gun and Miss Owens, you can't tell us how far the gun was from Miss Owens. Is that right?
I cannot.
Not without looking at the door, right?
Correct.
And you haven't looked at the door, correct?
I have not.
You testified that the manner of death is homicide, right?
Yes, I did.
And the term homicide and the way you are using it is a medical term, not a legal term, correct?
Correct.
In the medical community, homicide refers to a death occurring by the hands of another, right?
It is.
So in other words, by saying homicide in this case, you are saying that someone else shot Miss Owens, correct?
Yes.
It wasn't suicide or anything like that, right?
Correct.
This medical determination does not answer legally if a manslaughter occurred, right?
Correct.
This medical determination does not answer legally if a crime occurred, correct?
Correct.
This medical determination does not answer if legally this occurred because an individual was acting in self-defense, right?
Correct.
This medical determination does not answer if legally this occurred because an individual was standing their ground, correct?
Correct.
Punching, kicking, and/or hitting another individual with fists and other parts of the body can cause great bodily harm. Is that right?
Repeat that question.
Anytime punching, kicking, and/or hitting another individual with fists and other parts of the body can cause great bodily harm, right?
It can.
Especially if the person being hit has medical infirmities and is older, correct?
It can. It depends.
Okay. Your Honor, I have no further questions. Thank you, ma'am.
Need to redirect?
No questions, Your Honor.
She excused?
She is.
Have a nice day, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Did you ever solve the issue of the screen? I just want the record to reflect what was on the screen. There was nothing objectionable on the screen. It was just basically a blank screen with a state logo. So I turned it off, but there's nothing on there other than a blank screen and a logo. And that was it, a state logo. So just so the record's clear.
Did the logo say like guilty?
Jamie Williamson.
I do not have why.
Probably not. Apple Treasure, welcome to the gallery. Love the old courthouse. Looks good on you. This court is fast. It's fast. Partially because nobody objects. They do all sorts of leading and nobody objects to it. They just fly through the testimony.
Is there anything you swear upon the testimony about the truth and truth and nothing but the truth, self you got? I do.
I'll get it later.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Can you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Yes, my name is Jamie Williamson.
And where are you employed, Ms. Williamson?
I'm employed with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement out of the Jacksonville Regional Operations Center.
How long have you been employed with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement?
I've been employed there since January of 2008.
What is your position at the Florida Department of Law Enforcement?
Currently, I'm a senior crime laboratory analyst in the Firearm section.
What are your duties as a senior crime laboratory firearms analyst?
Is this familiar?
I do microscopic comparisons of fired ammunition components, so fired bullets, cartridge case shot shells. I compare them to each other, as well as to if I have a firearm, I can test fire that for operability and to make test fires that I can compare those test fires to anything collected from an evidence. From a crime scene.
Yes, ma'am. How long have you been in that role at the Florida Department of Law Enforcement?
I've been a senior analyst, since October of 2022, and I've been an analyst in the firearm section since March of 2018.
Can you briefly describe to the jury your educational background, ma'am, and your training experience?
Was she in the Tommy trial as well?
I have a bachelor's in cellular molecular biology, and I have my master's in criminal justice.
Terrible right here.
I began my career with FDLE, or the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, in January of 2008 in the firearm section. I was a forensic technologist, where my primary duties were testing firearms for functionality, just making sure
Eric,
they worked.
I have to do that. I've got to swing
And then
by.
I could enter said test fires into what is called the NIBIN database. It's basically an electronic database that holds all these images of fired
Text
cartridge
me your
cases,
number to the burner phone.
and it can
right?
connect, other crimes to each other. So it's an investigative tool. And I was in that role until July of 2009, when I was promoted to crime laboratory analyst in the crime scene section with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. And then I was in that role until I made the change to a laboratory analyst in the firearm section in March of 2018, where I began my training. And it was an 18-month program where it was a lot of readings, a lot of hand-on trainings and practicals oral assessments, written assessments, and then once I successfully completed that phase with an oral board, then I went to about 6 months of supervised casework conducted under a certified analyst in that section, and then that was successfully completed with a mock trial in October of 2019.
Thank you, ma'am.
Did she also star in Dirty Dancing?
The Florida Department of Law
Asking for a
Enforcement,
friend.
do you have to undergo proficiency testing in your position?
Yes, every year.
Have you passed that proficiency testing?
Every year, yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Have you ever testified previously in the state of Florida in the field of firearms identification?
Yes, I have.
Approximately how many times?
Over 20.
Yeah, we've seen
Your
it
Honor,
before.
at this time, I would tender this witness as someone who's authorized to give opinion testimony in the field of firearms identification.
Any cross-examination of voir dire?
No questions, Your Honor.
I'll allow her to testify in the form of opinion.
Thank you, Your Honor. Did you receive any evidence in this case, Ms. Williamson?
Yes, I did.
I want to show you State's Exhibit 14. Ms. Williamson, if you could please take a look at that and let me know if you received this item of evidence and your involvement in this case.
Am I allowed to open it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Look for the gloves. There we go. It's a new box of gloves. It's tight. It's full.
I recognize this.
Yes, ma'am, and if you could please describe to the jury again what that is.
This white box contains a .380 auto caliber pistol and 2 magazines, as well as a tape-sealed manila envelope containing my agency test fires. I recognize this item because this yellow sticker here is the Florida Department of Law Enforcement's barcode. This is how we basically keep electronic chain of custody through our laboratory. It has our unique case number on it, as well as my handwriting is on the exterior of the package and on all the items inside the box.
Thank you. So you received this item of evidence. Did you do any type of examination on that?
She signed everything in the box?
Yes, I not only did a visual examination to ensure that it would be safe to fire, and I did a physical exam, and then I actually did test fire this pistol.
You test fired the pistol there at your laboratory?
Yes.
What type of ammunition did you use for the test fire?
In this case, I used, it was Remington brand. It was a .380 auto caliber, because that's what the pistol is, and it had a full metal jacket projectile.
Ma'am, when you test fired the Remington .380 pistol, there states item 14, did the firearm function as designed?
Yes, it did.
So the firearm was fully operable?
Yes.
Thank you. I want to give you another piece of evidence, ma'am. This is State Exhibit 11. If you could please take a look at that as well.
A little early for the ASMR noise, but we're getting our fill. Just tear it. Just tear it like a Christmas package. Just like there's nothing in there.
Did you receive that item of evidence, ma'am?
Yes, I did.
All right, and if you could just describe to the jury again what that is.
Yes, this is a fired .380 auto caliber cartridge case that I received as my item number 3. And again, it has that FDLE barcode. It has my handwriting on the outside of the package, as well as my handwriting on the actual cartridge case.
Ma'am, that cartridge case if you could just explain to the jury kind of what a cartridge case is and how it is involved in the firing of a pistol.
Yes, so an unfired round of ammunition is actually called a cartridge. An everyday person might call it a bullet, but it's actually called a cartridge. And the cartridge contains a projectile, or the bullet, contains gunpowder. It has a primer that contains the initiation system to fire that round. And the cartridge case is the metal area that actually houses the gunpowder, and the bullet sits inside of it. So during the firing process, the firing pin of the firearm will strike the primer, which starts that whole process of igniting the gunpowder. The gunpowder then creates all this pressure inside the cartridge. The cartridge case will obturate or expand inside the chamber of the firearm, which then causes the pressure to expel the bullet out of the barrel of the firearm, and then making the firearm, in this case a semi-automatic pistol, unlock, open, which extracts and ejects the fired cartridge case, throws it somewhere on the ground, usually, as the bullet is exiting the barrel, and then the slide returns to a closed position. And this all happens in like a fraction of a second.
So the empty cartridge case, there you have it, State's Exhibit 11, that's what's ejected from the firearm when you fire a round.
The only thing she left out was it also goes
Now,
bang.
did you examine that shell casing, State's Exhibit 11, for any purpose in your analysis in this case?
Yes, I did a visual exam just to determine if it had these firing marks, as well as doing a microscopic comparison.
Right. And what was your goal in that type of microscopic analysis to see from the shell casing?
Yes, so after I test fired the pistol that I received, I microscopically examined my test fires that I created in-house, and I compare those to each other, because I test fire the pistol twice, and I compare those test fires to each other just to get an idea of how this firearm marks the ammunition. And then once I complete that, then I can microscopically compare the test fires from the pistol to any evidence that I have. And so that's what I did here, using using a comparison microscope, which has two stages where I can mount two separate items of evidence, but visualize them through one singular ocular bridge. And I can use like a crosshair that I can basically go from side to side and, look up at any correspondence that there is to each other.
Now, did you determine that the shell casing you received in item 11 was able to be compared to the test fire shell casings that you fired there at your laboratory?
Yes, I did.
And now, did you do any type of comparison, or did you do an analysis to reach an opinion on the shell casing?
Yes, I did.
And what was that opinion?
My opinion was that the cartridge case that I received was fired in the pistol.
Okay. So just to clarify, if I may, take this. So this shell casing right here, State's Exhibit 11, in your opinion, after your analysis was identified as having been fired from this pistol?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 14?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Now, then I want to give you another piece of evidence in this case, State's Exhibit 17. If you please take a look at that as well.
I recognize that.
Okay. And did you receive that item of evidence in this case, ma'am?
Yes, I did.
Now, did you perform any type of analysis or examination on that projectile?
Yes, I did.
If you could please just explain to the jury what a projectile actually is.
Yes, the projectile is the part of that cartridge I previously described that actually travels down the barrel of a firearm and is, goes to its intended target or wherever. The projectile is also called a bullet.
Now, when you did an examination of the projectile, what was your goal of that examination of that projectile?
With the examination, I began by measuring it. I can measure the diameter of it, and I weigh it, and it gives me an idea of the caliber class that it belongs to. I also put it on my microscope and look at what's called lands and grooves that are created during the firing process. These lands and grooves are what are inside the barrel of a firearm. They are basically helical grooves that are cut out of a barrel of a firearm that creates a twist, a spin to the bullet as it travels. So imagine if someone like me throws a football, it's going to go all over the place. And then somebody like Tom Brady has a beautiful spin.
Bingo.
And so that's what that rifling does. It creates that spin so the projectile doesn't yaw all over the place. So I'm looking at those lands and grooves. I make note of the direction of them because some firearms twist to the left, some twist to the right. Some have larger lands and grooves, some have smaller, some have 6, some have 5, some have 10. So I'm making note of all of these things because that's what's called class characteristics, and I know whether or not to even compare it to a suspect firearm.
So you examined that projectile that you received right there on the podium.
Yes.
You also said you test fired the pistol in your laboratory. Did you collect those projectiles from when you test fired the pistol?
Yes, because I test fire in a giant water tank, so that way I can easily remove the projectiles from the water and examine those.
Now, did you do any type of comparison analysis between that projectile that you received in State 17 and the test fired projectiles you did in your laboratory?
Yes, I did.
All right. And what was kind of the conclusion of your analysis?
After doing a microscopic comparison, I came to the conclusion that this bullet was fired from that pistol.
Okay. So just to clarify, Ms. Williamson, it's your opinion that this projectile in State's Exhibit 17 was fired from this pistol?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions for Ms. Williamson.
Cross-examination, please.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Good morning.
The capacity of the 2 magazines that you analyzed was 6, right, for each?
Yes.
And you did not do ejection pattern analysis on the firearm, is that right?
Correct, I do not.
FDLE just doesn't have that, doesn't have ejection pattern analysis at all, right?
Correct, we don't do that.
Okay. Thank you. Any further questions? Thank you, Your Honor.
No further questions.
She excused?
Yes, sir.
You're excused, ma'am. Have a nice day. Thank you.
That's an order. Have a nice day.
Next witness, please.
Good. That was a great witness.
Detective Ryan Stiff.
This entire legal system, from the bailiffs to the witnesses to everybody but the judge, is staffed by juveniles. I don't know why they all look so young. Something in the water down there keeps them young, I guess.
You're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, help you guys?
Yes, I do.
Please introduce yourself to the jury, sir.
Good morning. My name is Ryan Stiff, and I'm a detective with the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been with the Marion County Sheriff's Office?
6.5 years.
And how long have you been a detective with them?
4 years.
What do you do on a day-to-day basis as a detective?
In our major crimes unit, I investigate mostly violent crimes such as robberies, homicides, but also missing persons cases, suspicious deaths also.
Did you become the lead detective on this case of State of Florida versus Susan Lorincz?
Yes, sir, I did.
And how was it that you became the lead detective as opposed to another detective?
Yes, sir, I was the on-call that week, so we break up our rotation between the detectives, and basically if there's a crime or a call that requires major crime response, that detective would respond and become the lead investigator.
Let me direct your attention to June 2nd of 2023. Did you respond to the scene of this shooting in this case?
Yes, sir.
What was going on when you arrived?
When I arrived, There were multiple deputies on scene. They had secured the residence at number 3 apartment with yellow caution tape. There was a deputy who had started a crime scene log, and there were multiple residents of the area that were out and about at the time.
Was Susan Lorincz still on scene?
Yes.
Where was she located?
She was in the back of a patrol vehicle.
Do you see her here in court today?
Yes, I do.
Can you please point her out and tell me what she's wearing?
Yes, sir. She's wearing a purple sweater.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant?
Also reflect.
Did you determine her date of birth?
I'm sorry?
Did you determine the defendant's date of birth?
Yes, I did.
What was it? What is it? You don't
I'm
remember?
not sure.
Do you have your report handy?
Yes, I do.
Would it refresh your memory if you could take a look at your report?
I believe I just have the narrative here, so I don't know if I have her date of birth on it.
Did you come to learn that Ms. Lorincz had a cell phone in her possession?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you eventually take possession of the cell phone?
Yes, sir.
Where was the cell phone located when you took possession of her? How did you get it?
Thank you,
I
Amanda.
took possession from Deputy Stringer.
Congratulations,
Who was on
15
scene.
months.
Showing you the mark that states exhibit R for identification. You take a look at that and tell me if you recognize it.
Yes, sir.
What is it?
It is a packaging containing an Apple iPhone with my initials.
Can you open it up, look inside,
Yes, sir.
and recognize the contents?
All right.
They did get a new box of gloves. If you've ever pulled gloves out of a box, you know that's a new box. Maybe he could use a large, I'm thinking, instead of the medium. This guy's an amateur. He cut the whole top off.
It's an Apple iPhone that I collected from the scene.
Is it the same or substantially the same condition as when you collected it that evening?
Yes, sir. It is.
They would move R into evidence as 18.
Any objection?
No objection.
That objection states R will be evidence as number 18.
Yes, there's a purple sweater in the thumbnail.
What did you do with the phone after you took possession of it?
I took it back to the Marion County Sheriff's Office, where it was placed into a secure digital forensics lab.
At some point, was the phone provided to forensic analyst Jesse Newbanks with the Sheriff's Office?
Yes, sir.
When was that done?
Once we responded back to the major crimes unit inside the Sheriff's Office.
And what was the purpose of handing the phone over to Jesse Newbanks?
I plan to generate a search warrant for the contents of that phone.
Okay. And was that search warrant eventually granted, giving you or another individual from the Sheriff's Office the ability to go into that phone and extract data?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any involvement in that extraction process?
No, I did not.
I asked you a few minutes ago the defendant's date of birth. If I gave you a copy of the entire report, would that refresh memory?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Remember her date of birth?
Yes, sir.
What was it?
July 23rd, 1964. Thank you.
At some point, was the defendant transported from the scene to the Marion County Sheriff's Office?
Yes.
Was she interviewed there?
Yes, sir.
Pauline,
Where
thank you
was
so
that
much.
interview done?
It was conducted at the Major Crimes Unit within the Central Operations Complex of the Sheriff's Office.
Who was present during the interview?
It was myself and Detective Kip Peterson.
And what does Detective Peterson do?
At the time, he was a detective within the Major Crimes Unit.
Was the defendant under arrest at the time she was being interviewed?
No, sir.
Was the interview both audio and video recorded?
Yes, it was.
Was the entire interview audio and video recorded?
Yes, sir.
Did you read the defendant what are called Miranda warnings prior to asking her any questions about the case?
Yes, sir.
What are those?
Miranda warnings are a set of instructions typically read by law enforcement to someone who's in custody before any questioning. Basically making sure that they understand that they are free to not speak with us and to have counsel present before any questioning.
Thank you, Francis. Appreciate that.
Did she agree to waive those rights and provide an interview to you?
Yes, sir.
Did you force her or threaten you in any way to get her to talk to you?
No, sir.
Did you promise her anything in order to get her to talk to you?
No, sir.
Showing you mark the state's exhibit S is in Sam. Do you recognize that disc?
Yes, sir.
What is that disc? What's on it?
This disc contains the video and audio recorded interview on June 3rd of 2023.
And have you reviewed that disc?
Yes, sir.
Does it fairly and accurately depict the relevant portions of her interview that you conducted with her on the 3rd of June?
It does.
And how do you know you watched that disc?
My initials and ID number are present from where I initialed it.
This time, Your Honor, the state would move states S as in Sam into evidence as 19.
Subject to our previous objections, Your Honor.
I'll recognize the previous objections. I'll overrule them. It'll be in evidence in states number 19.
I'm also showing you states exhibit T as in Tom. Have you prepared transcripts of that interview?
Yes, sir, I am.
And did you listen to the disc with the interview at the same time reading transcripts?
Yes, sir.
Are the transcripts accurate as far as what's on that disc?
Yes, sir, they are.
This time, Your Honor, I'd request to publish the interview and provide the jury transcripts pursuant to the court's ruling.
Judge, may we approach just briefly?
Sure.
Looks like we're going to get to watch the interview. It was admitted over objection. Sounds like everything was proper. Round of warning was offered. You have the right to remain silent, but most people don't have the ability. So we're going to hear what she said. What is that noise? Most courts don't allow you to use cameras that have a shutter sound. It sounds like a camera. I'm appalled that they have one that has a shutter sound.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen carefully to some instructions I'm going to give you before the videos are played. One of them I've already given you, but I'll give it to you again. Members of the jury, you are about to view or listen to an audio or video recording. The court instructs you that the recording has been edited to eliminate irrelevant portions that would not add to your understanding of the case. The fact that the recording has been edited should not concern you in any way. It must not impact the way you view or listen to and consider this evidence. You are about to hear and watch a recorded interview that contains opinions and statements by Detective Ryan Stith, Detective Kip Peterson, and Detective Daniel Pinder to Susan Lorincz. These opinions and statements are pertinent only to explain the reactions and responses they elicit. You are not to consider these opinions and statements by the police officer, or in this case, police officers, as true, but only to establish the context of Susan Lorinc's reaction and responses. You are about to hear recorded conversations. These recorded conversations are proper evidence, and you may consider them just as any other evidence. You are also being furnished transcripts of the recorded conversations. The recordings are the evidence. The transcripts are provided to you only as a guide to help you follow as you listen to the recordings. The transcripts are not evidence of what was actually said or who said it. If you notice any difference between what you hear on the recordings and what you read on the in the transcripts, you must rely on what you hear, not what you read.
Did you listen to the transcripts and David also?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
and they have access to
Yes, sir.
We might get some cursey counters.
Let me know
going
when
here.
you're ready to
See if
actually
this
put
is
it on. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you need the volume up or down, please give me the up or down signal.
Welcome to the dungeon.
Oh, it is chilly in here, isn't it? Susan?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Detective Stitt. This is Detective Peterson.
Okay.
Can we just get you to slide that chair right over here just a moment? I'm sorry to keep you waiting so long. We just had a lot that we had to sort through before we could come and talk to you. So again, I'm Detective Stitt. I'm an investigator here with the Sheriff's Office.
It's not the worst audio.
Spell your name for me. Is it Susan?
Susan, S-U-S-A-N.
And do you have a middle name?
Louise, L-O-U-I-S-E.
And your last name?
Lorincz, L-O-R-I-N, C as in cat, Z as in zebra.
Thank you. And what's your date of birth?
7/23/64.
Okay. And your address?
1662 Southwest.
I guess we know the address because that's where the crime was.
34476.
And you live in apartment number 3?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. What's a telephone number for you?
352-777.
867-5309.
5909? So, do you know the reason why we're...
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Did the deputies put handcuffs on you or anything with it? Because there's a lot of things going on, and we're trying to sort through the moving pieces to try to figure out what happened. So naturally, they want to secure the scene in that, under that circumstance, and then to handcuff you. So we're working this investigation, and at this point, you're not free to leave. So I have to make you aware of your rights, okay, before we talk. So I have to read this to you. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to execute these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand each of those rights I've explained to you?
Yes.
Okay. So the reason I'm trying to clarify all the events that happened tonight, and to try to, because really I only have, statements from people that were out there, and I would like to get your side of things and try to understand what exactly happened tonight, or last night now, I guess it is.
Good clarity. Basically, the neighbors were out there screaming, yelling. The kids were running back and forth. I had a miserable headache. Went inside, laid down. They finally got quiet. I came outside, and the 3 boys were there. I'm like, guys, you're trespassing. Come on, go out of here. And he's like, I want this, and I want that, and fuck you, and fuck this. I'm like, oh, okay, little big kids, because they're all really young. And
So you say you came out, and they were...
I wanted to check my truck. Every time I had my truck on one side, the kids would throw the balls and hit the truck.
Okay.
So I moved the truck to the other side, then they moved themselves to the other side, and they keep just,
Just antagonizing you?
Oh, God, horribly.
Okay, so when you said that you came outside and they were there, the 3 boys were there, where were they at?
Right in front of, that little cove that's
Like
there.
the privacy fence?
They were right there.
Okay.
Right in front.
Inside the privacy fence, like on your patio, or
No,
outside?
they were just right outside.
Okay.
And I'm like, guys, come on, leave. Because I wanted to check the truck and everything. And then they were like, I'm going to tell my mom. I'm like, go tell your mom. I don't care, And
have you had problems with them before?
Oh my God, yes. They've been harassing me last week. They came out they were actually in the vestibule area, and they were like, wake up, wake up. I was watching TV. I'm like, really seriously, because after a nice long shift, it's just when I want to hear these little run.
How long have you lived there?
3 years.
3 years? Okay. And how long have you been having problems with them?
Like 2 years.
2 years?
Ever since she was.
Is it just those same 3, or do you have problems with any? Does anyone else give you problems?
They want to play on that part where Charles owns and the other part. And I'm like, guys, come on.
Which part is that? I'm not sure. I don't know what Charles is.
Charles is 11. So there's, one of the cops came out and said, oh, it's an open lot. It's not an open lot. It's an abutment of 2 properties. I'm like, guys, come on, give me some peace, because in my apartment, there's sliding glass doors, and then I have the 2 bedrooms up front, and because it's an open concept, just you can hear everything.
Sounds travel.
And it's horrible, and I'm like, go play on the other side. We don't want to play on the other side. We'll play over here. I'm like, oh, good gravy, and so they just, every time they see me, they get together and scream and yell.
They live in the same building?
No, none of them live there. I was going to say, one set of kids lives there, but the other sits on the other side. Like, we'll play on your side of the road, Come on.
Okay. So they were being obnoxious out there tonight, and they finally got quiet, but then you go outside and the 3 of them are out there?
Yeah, and I didn't want to go any further because he's like, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. I'm like, who
said that?
H.I.'s kids.
Okay. So who is it?
H.I., I think her name is.
Okay.
She actually had thrown a sign at me before. She picked up the no trespassing sign and just threw it at me. She's like, here, take your fucking sign. I'm like, it's not mine, it's Charles. He doesn't want you guys here. So it's just, she's been in my mailboxes. She sends the kids in the mailboxes.
When did she throw a sign at you?
I want to say last year, just after I had my neck fused. I'm like, oh, good gravy.
What kind of sign? Like one of the ones you buy at the store, like a plastic, like on the
It was a metal sign with a little metal, like a real estate sign. It had no trespassing, so it's about that by that. Yeah.
Is it the same one that was out there tonight, or is it different?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They stole that sign.
So what happened tonight that led to the conclusion that...
Well, I'm like, kids, go home. So they go home, and then all of a sudden she comes out, and she is just banging on my door. I'm like, go away. I'm not dealing with you tonight. And then she started banging so hard, everything started shaking. And I'm like, you really need to leave. And then she's, I'm going to fucking kill you. And she's just banging away. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And since she has actually harmed me, I'm like, this just keeps getting worse and worse. I'm like, I don't know what to do with her. And she banged so hard, it looked like my door was going to fly off. And I panicked. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's really going to kill me this time, And so I don't even actually remember picking up the gun. I just remember shooting.
Where do you keep the gun usually?
It's in my bedroom.
That's where you keep it? Like in a cabinet or something? Or just like...
It's just, I actually keep it in the trash can.
Okay.
Next to the bed.
Nobody would look in there probably, right?
And I didn't think about it. And I'm like, oh my God. And I just started panicking. I really feared for my life. I mean, honest to God, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm a nervous wreck. I'm not supposed to be getting nervous or anything like this because I have an aneurysm on my left kidney artery. And so they're like, just, you're supposed to stay calm, you're not supposed to do anything. And this woman just keeps antagonizing me. And she's got the kids calling me. I'm like, I have a doctoral degree. Do not talk to me like I am one of your peers.
So they don't really have any respect?
No respect.
Yeah. So AJ, she came to your door?
Oh, yeah.
And she was
pounding on it. I was like, what the hell? My cat's going to fling it.
What was she saying? Was she saying anything?
You don't talk to my sons. I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, And I was like in tears. I'm like shaking. And I'm like, oh my God. And I thought she had gone away. And then she starts banging again. I'm like, oh shit.
Did she try to come inside?
She was trying as hard as she could.
And what do you mean?
That door was moving. And I'm like, holy shit.
Did she try the door handle, or was she just beating on it to try to push it in, or what?
She was just, just trying to push it in, trying to push it in. And I was like, oh my God.
You just letting it's back. Time.
Okay.
Did I miss one? I tried to catch
one. What was she saying again?
She's like, you can't talk to my sons that way. I'm like, you're trespassing,
So you were communicating with her through the door?
I'm like, all right, just leave. I don't want to hear it. No, I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm going to fucking kill you. And I didn't think too much of it until she really started pounding that door. I'm like, oh my God. Then I got scared, like terrified, scared.
Now, you had initially called, did you call 911 or did you use the emergency number when you called?
When the first time, because the kids said, I'm going to kill you, and my friends kill you, I'm like, oh my God, what the hell's going on now? I'm like, I don't need this aggravation.
Okay.
So you called, was it 911?
Yeah, I called 911.
Okay. And that was before HI came over?
Before she came over.
And the kid, okay, so we get, like, as the deputies are responding, the call taker's talking to you, they're putting information that you're telling them into the computer, which goes to us as we're going out there. So in that call notes, there's never any mention of you saying that they said that they're going to kill you. It was more or less that they're harassing you, that they're...
Oh, no, I told the lady that they said they were going to kill me.
Okay.
No, I was very specific when I spoke.
Okay. Now, did you see who was out there at that time?
I just knew it was HI by her voice, because she's screamed at me before, and I'm like, oh, great, it's her again, and I just, like I said, I just panicked, and I just got so frightened. I was like, oh my God, she's really going to do it this time. She's going to kill me.
Were you still on the phone with 911 when you fired the gun?
No. I thought the kids went, and I was like, all right, I'll go check my truck in the morning. I didn't even leave, I just went back in the house and locked the doors.
So, but you had already contacted 911. Yeah. Did they advise you that someone was responding?
Yes,
an officer was responding?
They said someone's coming out, and they said lock the doors, make sure you don't go outside. I'm like, okay, usual.
Okay. And where were you at when she was pounding on the door? Were you...
I was actually in the bathroom.
You were in the bathroom. I haven't been inside, so how does it, like, when you go in through the front door?
It's all open.
Okay.
So you can see kind of the bathroom right from the front door.
Okay.
So.
And you were still able to hear her?
Oh,
she was able to hear you, as far as you know?
I don't know if she was able to hear me. I mean, she was just screaming for all she was worth. I'm like, stop, and just, she wouldn't stop. And I was just like, oh, dear God.
What else was she saying besides what you told me? Was she saying anything else?
She was just, some of it was unintelligible.
Okay.
So she was just ranting.
So I noticed there's, you have a couple cameras in the house?
Yes.
Okay. And are those like Ring cameras or Arlo or?
Blink.
Okay.
Bling cameras.
Then I have the one at the door. But when it gets dark out, they don't pick up anything.
Do they record sound though, or is it all motion where it only records when it captures motion?
Yeah, when it captures motion.
Okay. But those are working cameras?
I don't know if the door bell picked anything up. You can look at it and stuff.
Is that through your phone that you were able to review that, or computer, or how do you, through your phone? Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I don't think it picked it up because I didn't get a ding.
Okay. So, but prior to her coming over there and banging on your door, because we talked to a lot of people that were out there at the time, and there was some statements given to us that you had taken a tablet or picked up a tablet that was on the ground?
Absolutely not.
No. Okay. Is it one of the older ones?
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the deal with the roller skate? Because again, we talked to a lot of people who were outside and witnessed some of
They
this.
keep leaving all their toys around. The other day, I almost killed myself going out. I had an early morning doctor's appointment, and I didn't see the roller skate, and I almost killed myself. And I'm like, guys, stop already. This is not your garbage yard. And the kid's got his roller skates there, and I'm like, really, take your roller skates. I threw the roller skates. I'm like, go fetch them. Just enough. Because
did you throw it at them?
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
No, I just.
And what is the thing about the umbrella? You have an umbrella?
I thought it was raining before, and I walked out and it wasn't raining. I'm like, okay. So.
Okay.
I don't buy that one.
And you swung it at them or so, or one of them?
I wasn't even close. I was still inside the vestibule. So.
How can we explain that then with people saying, like multiple people that weren't like talking to each other, that if they were saying that that's what they saw?
Maybe I did step out and I'm like, guys, go away, but I would never touch them.
Okay. Maybe like swat at them with it, but not.
Exactly.
Okay.
If I did, it was probably because I was just so, like, come on.
Okay. Well, I know at least if you did, but is that what happened? I mean, we got to kind of get specific about this because it's a big deal.
I understand.
Someone's dead.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Someone's dead.
So that's why I say it's important to be specific and honest about everything. Okay.
Did she not know? Is that how she found out?
It was only because she was pounding at my door, and I, honest to God, thought she was going to come in.
Okay. So we have over in our communication center, they're putting together, because all the calls that come into 911 are audio recorded, and there were several people, even before, who were recording and getting audio of exactly what's being said, not to mention if your camera's captured anything, okay? So that's why I'm like asking you before we go through that, and if something is different than what you're telling me, we need to clear that up now, because if it, you know what I mean, if the evidence shows something different than what you're saying, it doesn't look good, and I want to be open and honest with you.
I just know that she was pounding and pounding on the door and scaring the shit out of me.
Okay. Yeah. But is there any reason why, if we reviewed that evidence, she wasn't saying, I'm going to kill you?
That's what I heard.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I honestly got heard. You know, it's just what I heard.
Okay. Did you ever look out the door to see? I know you said you kind of recognized her voice.
I never looked out the door.
Okay.
I was afraid to get to my door, to be brutally honest. I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to bust it in.
Where were you standing when you shot the gun? And you said you shot the gun
through
the door?
Yeah, through the door. I just panicked. It was probably at the kitchen table somewhere.
Okay, by the kitchen table. Mm-hmm. And how many times did you shoot the gun?
Once.
Just once? What kind of gun is it?
It's a Remington 380.
Is that the only firearm you have in the house?
No, there was a 22 Ruger.
Where's that one at?
I don't know. I don't know if I picked it up or not. I have no idea. Maybe the garbage can.
Okay. And after you fired the round, what did you do?
She said, ow, and I went, oh my God, I hit her. It just, clicked, I hit her. I was like, Jesus Christ. And I thought I just, nicked something.
Mm-hmm.
I never ever.
And what did you go out there?
No.
You didn't go out there?
No.
Did you call 911 back?
Yes, I did call 911.
Okay. And what did you say?
And I said, she was pounding on my door and I shot my gun. Well, I'm pretty sure that's what I said.
Okay.
And she was threatening me and she was saying, I'm going to kill you. So.
Okay. So it's a Remington 380. Mm-hmm. Is it a revolver or a semi-automatic?
It's a pistol and semi-automatic.
What color is the Remington?
Black.
Black. And that's your firearm?
Yes.
Okay. So, again, we're trying to get to. There's always two sides, right? Mm-hmm. And there's the truth is somewhere usually lying in the middle somewhere. And I'm not trying to discredit what you're telling me, and I understand your concerns about, this is your area. You want to be able to relaxed and not have to worry about all this riffraff, basically, yeah. But unfortunately, we can't get the other side from a G. AJIKE,
I think it is. It's AJIKE.
Right. But we can't ask her side, right? So then we have to go by other people who may have seen or heard things, video, 911 call recordings and things like that.
I'm telling you what I know.
So, is it feasible to say that this is just got to a boiling point for you that you couldn't take it anymore? And because again, if this stuff happened in the past, I get it, but we're talking about a specific event tonight where she didn't make it a point that she was trying to come in. She was trying to get your attention to say, apparently, to stop throwing things at her kids. Whether you actually, I know, listen, kids can lie. I get it. And I'm just saying, whether that actually happened or not, that's what she believed, because that's what she was told by her one of her sons. So she was coming over there does that ring a bell of her telling you not to be throwing things? No? What specific words do you recall that she said?
I just remember her saying, don't talk to my sons that way, and I'm going to fucking kill you. I mean, that's what I heard. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
And you're sure when you were on the phone with 911, you told them that she said that?
I'm almost positive.
Yeah, I mean, if someone was, the reason why I ask is because, like, if someone, let's say I'm not a police officer, right, and I'm just at my house and someone's, like, beating on my door saying, I'm going to kill you or I'm going to fucking kill you, oh my God, they're banging on my door. They're saying they're going to kill me. Like, that's a very fear-provoking statement when something, if you're in a legitimate fear that someone's going to come through your door and kill you, if you're already on the phone.
I wasn't on the phone, though. I was in the bathroom when she
You were on the phone with 911?
No, I was already off the phone with 911.
Okay, so she had already maybe made that statement before you even called.
So the second time?
Anytime.
I was going to say the second time when I called, she had already said it.
Okay.
So.
But the second time you called was after you had fired the gun? Okay. So.
And maybe I misunderstood it, because what my understanding was before I had to walk out of the room was that when she was knocking on your door,
it wasn't a knock.
The way I understand, you said that it got worse. Like so I'm starting off with
no,
and then we're gonna get harder.
She started off banging on that door, and it was.
But during that initial time is when you had said before that she had made the statement that she was going to kill you.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
no, it's important that we learn the details, so that way as we gather and collect evidence, the details are what help us piece that together so we can see the big picture, right? I'll tell you that even as law enforcement officers, if we make a decision to use deadly force against someone, we have to sit and explain the same way with details. I did this because of this, making me feel like this, right? We're just trying to understand the details of what happened from your point of view, so as we gather our evidence, we can...
Does anyone else live with you, Susan?
No.
Okay. How long have you owned your firearm, or firearms, or any firearm really?
Trying to think about Remington maybe a year ago.
Okay. And was it just for personal protection,
yes,
personal protection? Yeah, do you carry it with you if you go out, just for home?
Only if I take it to the range.
Okay. Do you do that often, or how often do you think that you've shot at the range?
Probably 4 or 5 times. Okay. I used to be terrified of firearms, and then when the first time she threw the things at me, and she was just so horrible to me, I just had neck surgery, and I'm like, she could have really killed me, And I just was like, oh dear God, she was just violent.
So, your door is kind of like, probably not wood or whatever, but you can't really see through it. There's no windows or anything like that. And I know your sliding door is a little further over, but something that he mentioned, as far as our training, when we have to go through making a judgment decision where we might have to pull the trigger, we have to know what we're firing at is a deadly threat, or what we recognize as a deadly threat. So my question is, how do you know what you're firing at when you're firing through a door that you can't see through, when you don't know if there's also a child outside standing there, Or, I mean, basically I'm asking you, what were you aiming at and what were you intending to do when you fired that gun?
I was just fearful of my life. And I was just like, go away, go away. That's all I could think of is just get out of the situation, you know, just go away already. And,
but when you fire through a door that's closed, was it locked?
yes, it was locked.
Okay. And, you know, you said you're in the bathroom, which I understand you said it's kind of an open floor concept in there. So it's kind of open, but I'm assuming there's walls around the bathroom. You've got a door, you can close it. And I'm not saying that you're within your right, you're in your house, you don't have to do that. But if I'm looking at a door that's secured and whether someone's banging on it or not, law enforcement's already on the way. At what point do you,
The door is broken.
The door's broken?
It's that whole side panel. People have, she's pounded on it more than once. And he fixed it, but when everything started rattling so much, I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to bust through it. Okay. You know?
So it's broken right now, or it was broken before and then the landlord fixed it?
Jerry rigged it. He put screws through it so that the centerpiece was supposed to stay in there, but she was pounding it so hard. I mean, everything was just rattling, and I'm like, oh my God, it sounded like a horse kick.
So,
it was so loud.
One thing that I think my partner was trying to get at, and I don't know that I actually heard an answer to the question. When you're inside the house and she's on the other side of a door that you can't see through and she's pounding on the door, you make the conscious decision to aim your gun at the door and fire one round, right? Just one round?
Yes.
Fire one round. Were you trying to hit her, or were you trying to scare her off? Were you trying to make a loud noise to say, like, hey, I got a fucking gun, get away from my door? Or were you thinking, like...
I was never intending to hit her. I just thought I hit really high, you know. I was just like, kind of, you know, it's the first time I ever really used it where I was, you know, like...
Not on a paper target.
Exactly. I was like, oh my God. So I was shaking. I mean, I was just so distraught at that point in time. I'm like, oh my God, she's really going to come to my house. And I was just like, all I could think is go away, go away, go away, go away.
Did you mean to, were you aiming for the door?
I just fired the gun because all I could think of is I felt like I was in mortal danger. I mean, that's just how I felt.
And what made you, I mean, I know someone's banging on the door, you feel like they could get in, but at that point where nobody had breached or been able to get through that secure door, what made you feel like that was the time that you needed to do that?
I usually have a chair propped up against the door at night.
Okay.
And I didn't have the chair up there, and I didn't have the chain on the door either. So just the one lock was locked. I'm like, oh shit, you know, of all the times that I never...
But before you decided to pull that trigger, you didn't think to try to put the...
I wasn't going near the door because she was actually physically moving the door. You know, like you could see the door moving. I'm like, oh dear God.
So the thing is, and again, I can 100% sympathize with being fed up with that kind of harassment and that kind of disrespect. But also someone lost their life last night, right? No?
I absolutely feared for my life.
So this
was an absolute, it's either me or her. I mean, it was just like, holy shit.
But did you see her with a gun or another weapon or anything like that?
I don't know what she had on the outside. You know, when my lights were off, you know, so she came up, it was dark out. And I'm like, great, now she's pounding on my door. Now she's scaring the crap out of me. You know, now my door's moving. And I didn't have it properly secured. And the next thing I thought she was going to be in my house, you know, killing me. I mean, that's honest to God what I felt. You know, it's not like, you know, I'm fed up or anything. This was a real fear.
But when we first started talking, you said you made it very clear to the 911 call taker that she was threatening to kill you.
Yes, absolutely.
And if that's not on the recording, is there any reason why that's not on the recording?
I have no idea. I'm pretty sure I said it. So.
Are you just pretty sure she said it as well? That she
no, absolutely, she said it.
Okay.
She was absolutely,
So the way that I see it is kind of like this. You have two things that you are looking at when you're in your position. You have this fear, this imminent fear of great bodily harm, death, serious injury, right? Imminent fear. Or you have, I'm in my apartment, I'm scared as shit, and I'm trying to scare someone off. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you understand what the difference between those are?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand, do you have this imminent fear that you're about to die? Or do you have this, I'm afraid of what's going to happen if this person doesn't go away? Does that make sense?
No, I felt like I was in imminent danger.
Okay. How would you define imminent danger? I just want to make sure that you because that's what the actual
imminent
law.
danger, let's say someone coming at you with a nice 4-ton truck, straight at you, and, they're swerving with you when you're trying to run away.
Okay. So, someone coming at you and you're this close to danger. Okay.
Now, the first time that you called 911, tonight or last night, at what point did you disconnect from the call? You called about basically the kids were in your area and you didn't want them there.
Mm-hmm.
At what point did you disconnect with them?
They hung up with me. They said, someone's on the way, just keep your doors and windows locked. And I said, okay.
But AJ wasn't there at that point?
No, she was not.
Okay. How long after you disconnected with them did she come over there, do you think?
I honestly thought it was you guys, someone banging on the door like that, because it felt, like really heavy bang, a guy doing it, and I was like, okay. It was kind of shocking me, like, what the hell? And she started screaming, and then, it was just weird because I just thought she is just so angry, and she's just ranting and pounding, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Well, from the information I got, she was angry and pounding because she believed that you had either struck or attempted to strike one of her kids with an umbrella and threw roller skates. Mm-hmm. And I'm not, again, I know how kids can be. They're not always very truthful about things. But I didn't have any information provided to me out there. Mm-hmm. And of course, we're still going through evidence, and that's an ongoing thing. But nothing that says that she threatened to kill you or that was doing anything more than trying to get you to come to the door. That she wanted you to open the door.
Why would I open my door to this woman? When she has thrown things at me, right. When she has followed me a foot behind me, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
I mean, she's literally come up, we had words about 2 months ago, and I walked away, I said, all right, whatever. And, I said, I'm sorry, just because I wanted to diffuse it, de-escalate everything. I'm walking away, and she's literally walking 1 foot behind me like she was, I said, oh my God, she's going to pound me into the ground.
So, yeah, I mean, that's my question, though, is if she wasn't trying to come in, she's just trying to get, and again, I wouldn't come to the door either. If you're beating on my door, wanting to cause something, I'm not answering it. But that's different than trying to bust the door down.
To me, she was
and you said that the door's already broken, so yes. How hard would it have been for her, because she's kind of a big girl, right? How hard would it have been for her to break that door knowing you're home? You know your door better than I do, but if it's already...
Well, we did put the extra long deadbolt on and everything. I did have the deadbolt on, so I didn't know how long the door was going to hold up.
And that's why I'm asking this, because at first it's broken and now it's...
We lost audio here. Maybe they'll fix it. Interesting on this interrogation video.
So it's not, I don't feel secure. Every night I stick a chair under that door to keep, because I feel like someone's going to break it in.
The door opens in, right? Because it has a chain, so it opens in.
When did you
The chair would help.
deadbolt, or did he did that? Someone else did it?
Yeah, Charles did it.
Okay. How long ago was that?
He just, I'm trying to think when the hell he did it, a few months ago.
And what was the reason for that?
She had pounded on the door once before, and kind of everything that he had fixed previously, she had cracked apart. And I'm like, oh God. Like I said, it's not
What did she pound on the door for last time? What happened with that?
I think I called her kid an idiot or something like that. And like, you see the signs, stop coming over here. And he's like, I can do anything I want. I can just go in. And I'm like, oh my God. You know, it's just.
And what did she do that time? She beat on the door?
She beat on the door and I'm like, go away.
Did you call the police then?
I believe I called the police, and it's when, you know, she heard me calling the police, then she went away.
She went away. What was she trying to get you? Was she that
I have no idea. I have no idea what this woman is thinking. I mean, to me, she's just terrifying at this point in time. You know, I just thought she is not mentally stable, and, you know, every time something happens, oh, it's my children, you know, they're 100% little angels, and of course, you know, you're demonized. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
But was she trying to get in that time, or was she just beating on the door and ranting and raving about you calling her son an idiot?
I think she was ranting and raving about me calling him an idiot.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, whatever, you know, go away, you bother me.
Okay.
But at that point in time, I had all the locks on, I had the chair up, you know, like.
Did you get your gun that time?
No. I didn't feel, she wasn't as forceful that time as, you know, this time was, you know, like, oh my God.
And do you think the reason was because she believed that you threw something at her kids?
I don't know I have no idea what she was thinking. Okay. I can't even speculate. You know, all I know is she's like, you know, you screamed at my kids, or, you know, you said something to them, and then she's like, I'm going to kill you. I'm like, fine.
And if your camera does work, do you, you're confident that any video would back you up? Or and the reason I'm asking that is because this is the time, if there's any discrepancies, to clear that up now. And I'm just trying to be
I don't even know if
forthright with you on that. What's that?
I don't even know if it's engaged, because the last time she was there at night, I tried to play it and nothing came up. So.
Did you ever know her to carry a weapon or anything?
I do. But you can't tell who.
No, you never know. That's right. We have kids out here running around with firearms and stuff. So, but I guess my question is, what is it that she did that made that an immediate threat to your life that you had to shoot when you did, or you were going to be harmed?
I thought she was coming right through that damn door. I mean, as far as my witness, I thought that one was coming.
What made you think that she was coming?
Because everything was shaking. I mean, my mirror that was on the wall was shaking. Like, how do you shake a cement block house? I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. That's why I thought, you know.
So she was just beating, like.
Oh, she was wild with it. I mean, she was bam, bam.
What is your door made out of? It was like a metal, or like I'm not sure.
I have no idea. I just was like, well, dear God, you know. I thought I was going to get my.
How long do you think she was hitting the door?
No, I can't even speculate, because it could have been seconds. It could have been, you know, when you get that fear response, and, you know, she banged on it. I was in the bathroom, came out of the bathroom, and she was still banging on it. So I don't know, maybe a minute or two.
And you didn't try to call 911 back at that point?
My phone wasn't there. I didn't know where I put my phone.
You don't remember where you put your phone?
And I was like, crap, I can't find my phone.
Okay. So you have an app on your phone that lets you review the video?
Yes.
For your surveillance camera? Would you be willing to be able to let us look at that?
I don't have a phone.
Well, no, we have it in the office over here, but Let me see what condition the battery's in, and I'll be back in just a moment, okay? Thank you.
And he's back.
So we got a little bit of juice in here.
Looked like it was 6:20 on the clock. Does that mean 6:20 in the morning?
This is your phone, correct? Is that an Apple iPhone?
Yes.
There's a passcode attached to it?
Faces.
Faces? There's a numerical to it if you don't have your face?
Yes.
Do you mind providing that?
Yes, I do mind. I'll open it for you. That's no problem.
Okay. So this is a consent to search cellular phone and or other storage media. Okay, this is a form. I just read this to you. I want to make sure I have your address and everything written down correctly. It's been a long day. The undersigned residing at 1662 Southwest 107th Lane. Is that right? Number 3. Ocala, Florida, does hereby authorize Detective Ryan Stitt and or other officers he may designate to assist him to search my cellular phone or their storage media described below, Apple iPhone. This written permission to search without a warrant is given to me to the above officers freely and voluntarily without any threats or promises having been made. Do you understand all that?
Yes.
Okay. If you would sign on that line there, please. Thank you.
So she just turned over her phone and gave them permission. She didn't give them the passcode. She said, I'll unlock it for you, but I'm not going to give you the passcode.
You said it was a face unlock deal? And you said it's a blink?
Yeah, blink.
Is that what both of those cameras are? They both blink cameras?
Okay.
Is that correct though?
I remember if one's blink and one's ring. I have to be brutally honest.
Okay, that's all right.
The two up front are blinks.
Okay.
It's gonna be front door.
Oh, so they are both on. Oh, you have a few of them? Okay. Just can't remember exactly. Do you remember when you called the first time?
I have no idea. That's when the kids were playing. They were so loud in the house. That's the front. It'll say front door.
Music.
Now, did you delete any videos? No. Okay.
First time.
I'm sorry?
It's the first time I looked at it since before.
She didn't delete any video?
That's why I didn't touch it. Just let you have it.
So this is the only one. So this usually doesn't capture at night anyway, you say?
Sure is. We're in Florida.
Does it normally capture things during the night? Like,
just look at that one and see if it usually just shows up as a dark screen.
Which one?
The yesterday. That's when I was recording him, I guess.
There's a lot of stuff, a lot of activity going on there, I guess.
I have my TV on 75. Ridiculous.
This music's gonna get us a strike. I don't know. Was Last of the Mohicans? What are you thinking?
Okay, well.
Did you want to open it again? Did you want to?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
But if it goes the way where you are released, which I said, I don't know, I have to talk to him, be 100% honest. Do you have family or someone that you could stay with if that's the case?
I was going to say I'm going to go get a hotel room. I'm not going to stay at my place now. I have to get the cats and take them with me.
Okay. Well, I don't even know if, I understand your cat, there's nobody that would be able to go over there or for you?
My sister is a brittle diabetic and she's had amputations. God forbid they saw her and they wanted to do her harm. She can't run. She works with a cane.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you can think of that I didn't ask or that might be helpful for figuring this all out?
I've never been in this situation before. This is all new and it's killing me.
Bad choice of words.
Okay. All right. Susan, give me just a minute. I'll be right with you. Okay.
They edit out all these breaks.
So we continue the investigation. I don't think it's safe for you to go back to that house.
I don't think so either.
But what we can do is provide you with a ride back there. You stay in the patrol car. How many cats do you have?
There's 2 cats.
2 cats. Do you drive that truck that's there?
That's my truck.
We can get the cats. Do you know where the keys are to your truck?
So the police are going to go pick up the cats for her?
Sure.
It's a new service. It's pretty cool.
For the record, I have all 8 of the jurors' transcripts.
Sure.
So we saw in the interview that the defendant was not arrested that night, correct?
Correct.
Was there still additional interviews and things that you wanted to do as a detective before that decision was made?
Yes, sir.
Were you in the process of obtaining a search warrant that allowed law enforcement to go back into her house or to go into her house and search for evidence?
Yes, sir.
Because of that, was she able to go back to the house and go inside while you guys were doing that?
No, she wouldn't be.
Once the search warrant was signed and allowing you to go to the house to investigate and look for evidence, did you in fact go back to the residence?
Yes, I did.
I've got to run just a minute, check on my kids.
Yes, I did.
I'll be
Did
right
you
back.
examine the door and the door frame?
Keep track of the Kersey
Did
County.
you notice any shards of wood, splintered wood on the ground near the door?
No, sir.
Let me direct your attention to several days later. Let me back up. During the days following the shooting, as a lead detective, did you and other detectives further investigate the case?
Yes, sir.
Did you interview various witnesses and do what detectives do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me direct your attention to several days later on June 6th of 2023. Did you conduct a second interview with the defendant?
Yes, sir, I did.
Where was that done?
That was also at the Major Crimes Unit within the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
And did the defendant voluntarily come to the sheriff's office to be interviewed?
She was provided with a ride, I believe, yes.
Okay. Who else was involved in that interview?
It was myself and Detective Daniel Pender.
And what does Detective Pender do for the sheriff's office?
And at the time, he was a major crimes detective also.
At the time of the interview, was the defendant under arrest?
No, she was not.
Was the entire interview, the second interview done on June 6th, was it audio and video recorded?
Yes, sir.
Did you again read the defendant Miranda warnings prior to asking her any questions about what happened?
Yes, I did.
Did she again waive those rights and agree to speak with you?
She did.
Did you force her or threaten her in any way to get her to talk to you this second time on June 6th?
No, sir.
Did you promise her anything to get her to talk to you?
I did not.
Showing you has been marked as State's Exhibit U for identification. Do you recognize that disc?
Yes, sir, I do.
What is it?
It is a video and audio recording of the interview with the defendant on June 6th.
Does that recording fairly and accurately depict the relevant portions of your interview that day?
Yes, sir, it does.
And is your initials on it?
It is.
Have you listened to it?
Yes.
This time, State would move you into evidence as State's 20.
Subject to our previous objections, Your Honor.
I recognize the previous objections, overrule them. It'll be in evidence as State's number 20.
Were transcripts also prepared depicting what was said in that interview?
Yes, sir.
Have you reviewed those transcripts?
I have.
Have you compared the transcripts to the interview to make sure that the transcripts are accurate?
Yes, sir. I have.
Did you also initial and date those transcripts after you were done reviewing them?
Yes, sir, I did.
I don't know if the court wants to take a break at this
Yeah, we'll
point.
take a break before you have another video. So we'll take about a 10-minute break, okay, everybody? Remember to put your notebooks down. Please don't discuss the case. Thank you.
No fair that they take a break when I try to eat something.
How long is the next interview?
An hour.
Okay. The juror lunches are here.
Whatever the court wants to do, we could.
Let me check on that, and I'll. Let me go check on that,
yes,
and then I'll come back in just a few minutes and let you know what the schedule's going to be.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so was there any cross-examination there? Not yet. It sounds like we finished the first interrogation. There's going to be another one more hour long.
I'll be back in about 5 minutes. I'll let you know what the situation is regarding the lunches.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So, my guess would be I don't want them sitting for an hour. So my guess would be we'll probably take a lunch break. Because I don't want to lunch, and then we'll just be a little bit early on that on the other side, which is fine.
So the judge is going to go check on their lunch. While they do that, we're going to rest our ears. Oh, beautiful, beautiful piece. I do what I can on the audio, but there's just so much noise. I can only take out so much of it. But turn off the. There we go. It's a beautiful day outside, I hear. The wind's not blowing at all. It's calmed down. You can see the mountains. It's great. It's a nice view. It is a nice view. It actually, this camera doesn't quite do it justice. Was that an airplane? See that something flying up there? Hang on. What is that? In the middle of the screen. Is that an airplane? Or a hang glider? Or a spider? What? focus a little better. I think it's an airplane. Maybe it's aliens. Helicopter, maybe? It's going faster. All right, we'll never know. It's gone, whatever it is. All right. Large drone, maybe. It was a Sasquatch. We caught it. This is why Sasquatch video is always blurry, because they're using cameras like this. Through a window, outside a house, through the haze, across the valley, on the mountain. Yeah. It's the cops. It's the cops. It's the feds. They're on to us. All right. You should travel around the country updating technology in the courtroom. It's hard to believe how bad some courts are. This one's not the worst. Okay. This one, I've never done as much tweaking to the audio as I've had to on this trial. It is pretty bad. It's really, really bad. Which is too bad because I love the judge. This could be my favorite courtroom if they can get their audio worked out. All right. One more interview to go in just a few minutes, depending on whether or not they take lunch. Yes, we know that in the Robert Tellis trial, they have seated a jury, and that we're going to have opening statements today. My plan is to just work 2 days straight in a row. So we're going to follow this trial until they break for the day, and then we're going to start and play catch-up on the Robert Tellis trial as it starts later this afternoon in a couple hours. So it's going to be long. See, are we watching Sarah Boone today too? I'm not sure if they're going to air this one. I thought this was going to be her discovery. Wasn't this going to be her last pretrial, or is this the discovery where the state brings everything and she wanted to exclude the media? I don't know if the media is going to be involved at all. I never heard the final ruling from the judge. Let me see if there's something on the docket there. Let's see, Florida. Just trying to pull up her docket really quickly. Rate limit exceeded. I clicked it one time. I think they're having some problems on the website. I'm getting rate limits exceed. Are they getting like a denial of service attack on their server? Job's done. Job's done. Latest Sarah Boone doc PDF. Thank you very much. I'll check that. All right, just taking a peek at this one. Thank you very much, Samantha, for the document. Motion to intervene for the limited purpose of opposing closure. Oh, that's WFTV. Channel 9 moves to intervene in this action for limited purpose of opposing closure to judicial proceedings. In support thereof, WFTV states as follows. They've covered the murder of George Torres and the arrest, investigation, prosecution of the defendant Sarah Boone. Reporters from WFTV attend court proceedings and rely upon state, county, and local public records as well as judicial records as part of their news gathering process. The court has set a physical viewing of the evidence for September 3rd. Done. Okay. Okay. Today is motion status hearing. Evidentiary hearing is next month. I thought one of the motions was whether or not they were going to allow the cameras in to that evidentiary hearing. Any closure of the physical viewing directly affects the media and the public's right to monitor this important criminal proceeding. As such, WFTV has a standing to intervene and oppose any requested closure. WFTV would like to be heard on this matter and asserts that any requested closure should be denied. Florida has traditionally served as a model for open government courts. It's well settled in the state that criminal court proceedings are presumptively open to the public. The Florida State Supreme Court has stated that a trial is a public event and that what transpires in the courtroom is public property. Like that. Therefore, when considering a request to close court proceedings, this court should begin its consideration with the assumption of a pretrial hearing be conducted in open court unless those seeking closure carry their burden to demonstrate a strict and inescapable necessity for closure. In order to justify closure, the moving party must meet an exacting standard and show closure is necessary to prevent a serious and imminent threat to the administration of justice. Judge is still gone. I'm watching for that.
Mr. Buxman, I had just told Mr. Smith and the other attorney that we're probably taking a lunch break because we got an hour worth of video and then cross. By that time, their lunch would be here for probably an hour, 15 minutes, and probably not in the best shape I was ever in. So I'm just going to announce that to the jury, and then it's 11 o'clock, and then we'll just break till 12. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to make sure you got witness. I mean, have you let your witnesses know that? Or?
Yes, after him, we only have one witness, and he's going to be here at 12:45. So
12:45.
Yes.
So one witness left for the
he
state.
Still has another hour and a half, probably, testimony.
Yeah, 12:45 be fine. I mean, you got an hour of video.
Yes, sir.
So, whatever is fine with me. So.
I don't know the status currently in the Maya trial, where they're at. Sounds like we're taking a lunch, though. Screen's not frozen. It's just, see, I'm down here.
Just so you know, man, just walking out. It wasn't you, the texter.
What was that?
It wasn't you who was texting.
No. Okay.
But there was another person. So. He has a telltale, looking down. Let's bring the jurors back in real quick.
The jury's coming back in to be told they get to eat their lunch before it gets cold, or warm if it's already a cold lunch. Cameras were just pointed at the wall while we're waiting for the jury to come back in. Now we're checking the tassel on the flag that proves we are, in fact, in Admiralty Court.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to know what we're going to do at this point. It's my understanding from the attorneys, the next video is about an hour long. and then we have cross-examination after that. Your lunch has already been here. It's been here for a few minutes. I don't want you to have to wait, and I don't want your lunch to be sitting here for an hour before you eat it. So we're going to take our lunch break now and get that out of the way, and then we'll resume back right around noon or so. It's my understanding that we're probably going to finish a little bit early today. Hope you have no objection to that. You'll be free to go whenever we're done. We're going to get as many witnesses as we can, but sometimes witnesses have travel plans that we're trying to work with as well. I will let you know we're well on track to get finished on time. And with that, have a very nice lunch, okay? Leave notebooks here.
Okay, so as they go to lunch, we're going to break right here. They'll be back in an hour. Court where Robert Tellis does not start for a while. So maybe we need to take lunch as well. And then we'll pick up when they come back from lunch. But yeah, the jury, their egg salad sandwiches have been sitting in the sun for a few minutes now, and the judge does not want them to spoil, so he's letting them eat their. Have you guys ever had an egg salad sandwich? That used to be a thing growing up, and now I guess food poisoning is more. I used to eat egg salad sandwiches. I used to buy them even like at gas stations, and I'd eat them. It's good. I haven't seen them in ages. Well, I will tell you one thing. Chat, I owe you this. I know this is probably a not relevant podcast topic, but our Airbnb, which is just amazing, came with a jacuzzi, which is completely empty and full of leaves. But aside from that, it has an air fryer. Like a Ninja 2-in-1 instant pot air fryer, and it's set up for air frying. And I've used it twice now with great success. And I'm sold. I need Mrs. Ori to get one. Anyway, so that's it. I've made French fries. I don't know. I assume you can make other things in them, but I've made French fries twice in the air fryer. Air fryer jacuzzi. You can mix the two. All right, let's see. Let's go to lunch. The judge says he'd be back at noon, which is, let's see, it's 10 now. That's 2 hours? Is it 2 hours? It's 11. Okay, so we only get an hour for lunch, which means we'll be back in 45 minutes, if that works. Do not fry your egg salad. Do not fry the egg salad. Okay, I'll make a note of that. That won't happen. Make my own, eat egg salad sandwiches whenever I want, says Last Poet. So text your recipes for egg salad to me. I might make my own. We bought one of those Sam's Club packages of eggs. So we have like, I don't know what is that, like 4 dozen, 6 dozen. It's a lot. Let's see, salmon bites in the air fryer. Oh, fish! You can cook fish in there. Is there anything you can't cook in an egg? Other than like a hard-boiled egg in an air fryer? I don't know. Anyway. All right, we're going to take a break. I know it seems early because it is early here. It's only 9 o'clock. But it is lunchtime in court in Florida, so we're going to take a break with them and then come back with the new stream. Our plan... Hey, is Brandy here? Did I just miss Brandy? Brandy, where are you at? Hey, there you are. How are you doing, Brandy? Haven't talked in for ages. We'll have to talk here soon. Hope things are going well for you. I saw you got a couple new podcasts coming out. I saw a tweet from you. So 2 new episodes of the podcast. Awesome work there. I still don't understand how you do all that you do. Big shout out to Brandy. If you don't follow Brandy Churchwell, she's one of the good ones. I do recommend you give her channel a follow, and she follows sometimes some of the same courts we follow. Other times we take turns flipping back and forth. She did great coverage of the Karen Reed trial. So I love that. Thank you, Brandy. Good to see you in here. Let's see. It's simple to hard-boil eggs. It is better to use a pressure cooker to hard boil eggs. And once you do, you'll never go back to the old way because they just peel themselves. The shell just like pops off perfectly every time. All right, now that we're talking about food, it's definitely time for lunch. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back probably in about 45 minutes. We're going to start up with part 2 of this trial, the bad neighbor trial. Let me see if I can show you, if I can, the current thumbnail where we're at. Let's see. Oops. Helps if I have that turned off. Is that better? Nope. It's just hard to do. All right, so here's our thumbnail. This is the bad neighbor trial. We have the defendant with her purple cardigan. There's the yard. We have the umbrella. We have the camera taped to the door. We have the "Don't poop here" sign. The thrown "No trespassing" sign. No trespassing. Keep off the grass. The tablet. The love for the judge's chair, which might be about a $5,000 chair, and I like it. Roller skates over left. There's a dog pooping on the grass because it likes to do its business right there. There's our 911 operator with the honeycomb tattoo sleeve on his arm, which looks really cool. Basketball, more roller skates, and our cursive counter is up. Well, here I'm going to make a quick update here because guess what? It is up to 48 now. Yes, that's right. Cursive counter is up to 48 naughty words. 48 naughty words so far in this trial. So we'll keep an eye on that as it progresses. I'm going to take a look out the window, and it's beautiful. It's time to definitely go out and catch a little bit of sun, or make sure the kids do. I'll get a little more food, and then we'll be back. Let's see. Put this back where it went. I'm getting whiplash moving these things around. I'm not used to having a studio that nearly surrounds me. This is pretty wild here. I am on vacation, so I'm out in Utah. This is a studio away from my studio, home away from home. Thank you very much for joining me today. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone to make their day just a little bit better. And please stay safe till we go live again in about 45 minutes with part 2 of the bad neighbor trial out of Florida. Remember, later this afternoon, we're also going to be bringing you the Robert Tellis trial. That means we're going to do a double header back to back. We'll be a little bit behind picking up on Robert Tellis, but we do plan on watching all that through, maybe at 1.25 speed until we get caught up. Fingers crossed for good audio on that one because this has been a nightmare to fix on my end. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. All right, that's everything. You guys have yourselves a fantastic lunch. Turn this off. There we go. I think that's where we need to be. All right, we'll see you guys.
Get off my lawn.